If you had to name the single most important invention in human history, what would you choose? Fire, perhaps? Writing? The printing press? But there's one invention so simple, so universal that it's easy to overlook: the wheel. Without it, there would be no wagons, no carts, no bicycles, no trains, no cars, no mills, no gears, no engines or turbines. The wheel turned human history literally, and yet its story is far from straightforward. It wasn't obvious, and it wasn't inevitable. Today, we'll trace the journey of the wheel from its mysterious origins in ancient Mesopotamia to the modern age of high speed trains and jet engines. Welcome to History Unpacked. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. We post every week and we welcome any feedback. We hope you enjoy today's episode. The wheel wasn't the first tool invented. For tens of thousands of years, humans thrived without it. Stone tools, fire, and even boats predate the wheel by thousands of years. But something changed around 4000 BCE in Mesopotamia, the land between rivers, where the first true wheels appeared in the archaeological record. The earliest examples weren't used for transport at all. They were potter's wheels, a simple rotating disc that allowed clay to be shaped evenly and quickly. It was a craftsman's tool, not a vehicle. But the leap from pottery to transport didn't take long. Soon, heavy wooden wheels were fitted onto sledges and pulled by oxen. For the first time, people could move large loads over land more efficiently than muscle alone would allow. It may sound obvious now, but the invention was far from simple. A wheel had to be perfectly balanced, sturdy enough not to shatter under weight, and attached to an axle that rotated smoothly. Making one required advanced woodworking and a leap of imagination. This was not an idea that spread naturally across the globe. In fact, many civilizations, such as those in the Americas, never developed wheeled vehicles at all, despite inventing the wheel itself in toys. The wheel was not inevitable, but it was revolutionary. Once the wheel was applied to transport, societies changed. Farmers could haul greater harvests to storage and markets. Builders could move stone, timber, and supplies across long distances. Roads became more than footpaths, they were arteries of trade. By the 3rd millennium BCE, four-wheeled wagons and two-wheeled carts were common in Mesopotamia and the surrounding regions. Each improvement, stronger axles, spoked wheels, lighter frames, meant faster travel and greater capacity. Agriculture flourished with the wheel. Ploughs fitted with wheels, or at least drawn more efficiently, became supplies that could be carried in carts. Meant more food could be grown, more people fed, and larger cities sustained. Civilizations were literally rolling forward. But the wheel didn't just move food and trade, it moved armies. Around 2000 BCE, a new innovation appeared: the war chariot. Early wheels were solid blocks of wood, heavy and slow. But somewhere in the steppes north of the Black Sea, the spoked wheel was invented. Lighter, faster, and far more maneuverable, it made possible the two-wheeled horse-drawn chariot, a weapon that would dominate ancient battlefields for centuries. The Hittites, the Egyptians, and later the Assyrians perfected chariot warfare. With archers firing from fast-moving platforms, armies could strike quickly and retreat before infantry could respond. Chariots became the prestige weapons of kings and pharaohs, symbols of power as well as practical instruments of war. Eventually, cavalry mounted horsemen would outpace the chariot, but for a long time, the wheel defined the way wars were fought and how empires expanded. As chariots thundered across battlefields, wagons creaked along trade routes. The wheel was the foundation of ancient economies. In Mesopotamia, in Egypt, in the Indus Valley, Goods moved on carts from villages to cities and from cities to ports. The Silk Road, linking China to the Mediterranean, relied on carts and wagons to carry silks, spices, and precious metals across thousands of miles. Roads became vital. The Persians built the Royal Road. The Romans later surpassed them with a vast network of paved highways stretching across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Roman legions marched those roads, but so did wagons filled with grain, wine, and stones for building aqueducts. The wheel made long distance empires possible. It's worth remembering that before the wheel, moving large loads over land required teams of men dragging sledges or animals hauling burdens on their backs. The wheel multiplied the carrying power of civilizations, allowing cities to grow, armies to expand, and commerce to thrive. After the fall of Rome, Europe entered what's often called the Middle Ages. Roads decayed, trade slowed, but the wheel never disappeared. In fact, it took new forms. The water wheel became one of medieval Europe's most important machines. Harnessing rivers, it powered mills that ground grain, sawed wood, and even drove early forges. For the first time, human and animal muscle were no longer the only sources of mechanical energy. In transport, the wheel kept evolving. Carriages became more comfortable, wagons more reliable. Innovations like the nail iron tire gave wheels greater strength. Across Asia, carts with unique designs flourished, from China's wheelbarrows to India's massive ox drawn wagons. The wheel had gone from a simple transport to a foundation of both industry and daily life. By the late medieval period, wheels weren't just rolling on roads, they were turning inside machines. The concept of the gear, essentially a wheel with teeth, transformed mechanical design. Clocks, presses, and winches all relied on interlocking wheels to transfer motion. Leonardo da Vinci sketched endless designs based on gears and pulleys, dreaming of flying machines and mechanical wonders. The wheel had become more than transport, it was the basis of engineering. And then came the Industrial Revolution. If the wheel had been important before, it now became indispensable. Steam engines turned massive iron wheels that drove locomotives across continents. Spinning wheels and looms in textile factories churned out cloth at unprecedented speed. Gear trains powered everything from printing presses to steamboats. The iron-rimmed wagon wheels of the past gave way to steel railway wheels, rolling across tracks that connected cities and nations. The wheel, now paired with steam and later electricity, was propelling humanity into modernity. It's almost hard to imagine the Industrial Revolution without it. The wheel wasn't just part of the machinery, it was the machinery. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the wheel had entered its modern form. Pneumatic tires, invented in the 1880s, made bicycles smoother and cars possible. Suddenly, individual travel was transformed. The bicycle gave ordinary people speed and freedom. The automobile reshaped cities, economies, and daily life. Railways continue to expand, with steel wheels carrying passengers and goods at speeds unimaginable in earlier centuries. And though aircraft rely on wings for flight, even planes rest on wheels to take off and land. Today, wheels are everywhere, from the smallest wristwatch gears to the turbines of jet engines, from freight trucks on highways to high-speed trains gliding on steel rails. The wheel remains at the center of human progress. The wheel seems so simple now, a round disc on an axle, but its history tells us otherwise. It was never inevitable, it had to be imagined, built, perfected, and applied in countless different ways. From Mesopotamian potters' wheels to Egyptian chariots, from Roman wagons to medieval mills, from steam locomotives to modern cars, the wheel has carried humanity forward, step by step, revolution by revolution.